What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about the aftermath of the Cleveland Gaming Classic. Yes, everyone is finally finished. They've gone home. They've hopefully rested up and recovered physically, maybe never mentally, but I'm not talking about the physical or the mental recovery of the Cleveland Gaming Classic, of the weekend that was, when all the YouTubers got together, friends, and had a great time, a phenomenal time, a reckless time. The recklessness is what I want to address today. We're talking about the Pac-Man XL live stream that I had on my channel. Everyone participated. It was a great time, but there was unfortunately a negative vibe in the air. There was an evil that was afoot. For those of you that watched that live stream, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch the replay. You'll know exactly what I'm going to say, exactly what I'm talking about. PDubs, Patrick, of the PDubs Arcade1up YouTube channel, viciously and nefariously attacked, ravaged, and savagely stomped, nearly destroying my Pac-Man XL cabinet that I purchased with my own money at the local Costco there in Cleveland. And it was a traumatic time. It was uncalled for. It was unwarranted, violent in nature, shocking. Many people, viewers and participants in the live stream, were scarred. Were scarred for life. Some may never recover, ever. And so dealing with that trauma, I think, is the reason why I also, later on that evening, further damaged the Pac-Man XL almost beyond recognition. The damage that the cabinet sustained was almost unrepairable. Damn near destroyed the cabinet. And what was I to do? What was I to do? Well, all I could do at the time was pick up the pieces and load this up in the truck just as carefully as I possibly could, get some friends to the airport, and then make that long, sad, mournful journey home, hoping and praying that there was some way, somehow, I could actually repair the damage that was done, mostly by PDubs, also some by me. But anyway, let's focus on the PDubs part. The damage that he did was horrible. Mine was only slightly more horrible. But anyway, his damage, very horrible. So I was hoping there was some way that I could make this repair. And I knew that, I had some wood glue, I had clamps, I had determination, a dream, and hope in my heart that perhaps maybe I could make this happen. So once I gathered myself, got home, unpacked, I began the surgery that was required to repair my Pac-Man XL cabinet. It was difficult. It was touch and go. There were times where I thought I was going to lose it. I thought it was actually going to go under, The cabinet even flatlined a few times, but I meticulously repaired this cabinet as best that I could, removing some old parts, removing some broken pieces of wooden dowels, separating the cabinet into different pieces, and then beginning to glue and clamp each broken shard back together in the hopes that I could, in some way, make this cabinet whole once again. But after all the sanding was done, and after all the parts were glued and all the fitment was done and the clamps were in place, it was simply time to just let this thing sit overnight and hope for the best. The next morning, I found that the cabinet was awake, conscious, and even eating some solid food, keeping some fluids down. So I knew that there was hope. I knew that there was actually some hope. So taking off the clamps and the plastic and the tape and all that revealed not the prettiest of repairs. Some glue had spilled out, so sanding was required for sure. So I got to work on some of the sanding and the fitment of the pieces, removing some of the screws that had some of that glue residue on the threads, pulling out old chunks, once again, more pieces of wooden dowel to get this thing prepped and ready to be reassembled. Now it was time to bring these pieces together once again, and it wasn't the greatest experience. There were some issues trying to fit those pieces in. Not so much the G panel. That once again, Patrick was 100% PDubs, the Arcade1up, the destroyer of worlds, the breaker of hearts. He was solely responsible for the G panel being cracked. That actually wasn't the worst part of the installation. It was actually the pieces that I broke. Those wooden dowels that snapped on the two support pieces, the two cross members that were attached to the upper section of the cabinet, there were pieces of wooden dowel that remained inside of the holes that were drilled for those. So when I put this together and sandwiched it all together, parts of the artwork kind of bulged outward, on both sides. So, I mean, it is what it is. I had to take the thing apart and then take my flush cut saw and cut those dowels down so they didn't stick out quite as far. A little more sanding, a little more finishing stuff. But once I got all that fit, I put it together, and although it isn't without certain flaws, it is, once again, whole. The cabinet is back together, and I'm very happy to have it together and have it back in the arcade, back home, back with the collection. And seeing this thing side by side, other XL cabinets, it really just reinforces the fact that Arcade1up should not really waste time with any other 3/4 scale cabinet. Really, the focus from here on out should be XL. It's the only thing that's really going to make me want to purchase another Arcade1up. It's really the only thing that's going to make me want to upgrade any cabinet that I have at all. You know, I'm never going to buy another Ninja Turtles cabinet unless it is an XL. So I think that, suffice it to say, the scratches and the bumps and the bruises are kind of what is going to make this cabinet actually a little bit more special to me. Similar to the NFL Blitz cabinet that we put together 1 year ago in Chicago. It is not perfect. It is not without flaw. It's got some scuffs, you know, just from being transported in the back of the truck and, you know, all the way from Chicago back home. But it is those little things, those little imperfections that, you know, that make it special. And this is, unfortunately, a cabinet that, you know, given all the history and given all the memories, I'm never going to be able to part with. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. I hope y'all have a blessed day, and I will see all of you next time.